So what happened in crypto this week? A lot of exciting news. One of the major things I want to start off is number one, the SEC grants initial approval for Bitwise to have a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. This is a fund that tracks both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and this is based on the market cap of both crypto. Based on what I read so far, Bitcoin has about 83% allocation in the fund, and also Ethereum about 17%. Again, this is based on the market cap of these cryptocurrencies. One of the beautiful things about this is that it allows investors to have exposure to not just Bitcoin alone, but to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, this is just initial approval, meaning that we still need a final approval in form of the Form S1. We still need to be approved by the SEC before this then begins to trade. Overall, I don't think this should be an issue because we already have the Bitcoin ETF and also the Ethereum ETF. So combining both, I don't think this should be an issue, hopefully. Fingers crossed. This year repeats SAB 121. What is SAB 121? This is just staff accounting bulletin, which prevents banks from custodying crypto. But now, if the SEC is repealing this, it just means that the restriction, institutions or financial institutions that could not get into crypto or could not offer crypto services to their client, now they're going to get the green light to be able to offer this. What does this mean? It just means that banks can now custody crypto, banks can now offer crypto services, and this is going to increase adoption, meaning that not just the retail investors alone, but also institutional adoption. This is a very, very bullish sign. One of the other people that is synonymous with crypto is Michael Saylor. He keeps buying Bitcoin. MicroStrategy has literally positioned itself as the largest corporate holder for Bitcoin. Just this week alone, they bought another $1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin. So if we look at this, it is just really, really amazing. The reason why I'm even saying that this is even amazing, if we look at the 5-year performance for the MicroStrategy stock, just over the past 5 years, 2020, the price of one share of MicroStrategy was about $15. And fast forward 5 years later, this is over $340. And why did this happen? Because MicroStrategy pivoted into Bitcoin, meaning that they started holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. While I'm not recommending MicroStrategy, I do own some shares of MicroStrategy in full disclosure, but I'm just saying that a lot of institutions are adopting this, meaning that it's no longer strange for companies to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet.
I wanted to comment, Coach. So for me, I find it very interesting, but I do want to say, Bitcoin is very volatile. You really have to be able to stomach this. And one way to go about it, have an emergent fund. Never invest in volatile securities like this, money that you're not willing to lose. I just wanted to put that caveat. You have a very high risk appetite, but at the same time, I wanted to just caution people to say, it comes with ups and leaps and bounds. From my experience, it's very volatile, Bitcoin.
I know that I have a high risk tolerance when it comes to taking risks about investing, but it's also important to look at the historical record for Bitcoin. Just last year, Bitcoin was still around $44,000. And now we're looking at over $100,000 as a normal threshold. We don't know where this is going to end at the end of 2025. Some are estimating that one Bitcoin might be worth maybe 180,000 or 200,000. Who knows? But I just look at the historical record that Bitcoin has already established over a long period of time, since 2009. MicroStrategy getting into this is not a guarantee that, your investment is going to do well, but I'm just painting a picture that, hey, this is just a story of an institution that pivoted into Bitcoin, and we can see how their stock has already performed over the past 5 years. Again, never invest what you cannot afford to lose, because yes, crypto can be very volatile, but even with the volatility, we can see that Bitcoin is going in the upward right, which is where we want this to go. Just this week, Forbes names Michael Saylor as Bitcoin alchemist because this guy is so bold. And when we have leaders that can take risks like that, it's just important to recognize that. I'm not saying that this is a perfect move, because why? What if Bitcoin start tanking? The story is not going to be, you're going to be on the front page of Forbes. The story is going to change. But I'm just saying that the fact that he has taken the risk and the fourth step to literally put in Bitcoin on MicroStrategy's balance sheet, this is also giving or leading the way for other companies to put Bitcoin on their own balance sheet. One of the other things that we saw, I think Tesla too had saw Bitcoin on their own balance sheet. But one of the other things that we need to point out was that their Bitcoin investment is already up over 300%. This last quarter, unrealized gain on Bitcoin was $600 million. That was this past Q4. And apart from that, 26% of the Q4 earnings was just from Bitcoin. Again, this is just giving us an example that Bitcoin works not just for a retail investor, but also for companies, for corporations. Again, I'm not discounting the fact that Bitcoin can be volatile. Yes, it can, but we're seeing examples, MicroStrategy, Tesla.
Shift.
Exactly, there is a shift because number one, the US administration is pro-Bitcoin, it's pro-crypto. So there is a shift towards Bitcoin. And it's just important to have some allocations into Bitcoin. I'm not saying just crypto in general. Bitcoin is just important to have some allocations into Bitcoin. BlackRock, they have the BlackRock ETF. Demand has been going up. Just this week alone, BlackRock bought over 3,000 Bitcoin. And it's important to know that every day, the maximum amount of Bitcoin that is usually mined is only 450 Bitcoin. So when you see a corporation that is even buying more than what is mined every day,
they can move the market.
Because, number one, yes, they can move the market, but also because they believe in this product. They can sell this product to the institutional investors. They can sell this to big corporations. Again, I always like to look at the economics for Bitcoin. Big supply and demand is increasing. I want to believe that the price is going to trend upward. So before we then go into the next slide, I'm going to play a short video where Larry Fink. So Larry Fink used to be Bitcoin skeptic, but once he became a student of Bitcoin, he studied the white papers, and all of a sudden is now an advocate.
If you're frightened of your debasement of your currency, or you're frightened of your economic or political stability of your country, you can have an internationally based instrument called Bitcoin that will overcome those local fears. And so I'm a big believer in the utilization of that as an instrument. And so if that becomes true, and you see that it could be a proper hedge against maybe hope security or equities, the question is, could you see a 2 or 5% allocation? I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week, and that was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 for Bitcoin.
Does it also?
I'm not promoting that, by the way. So that is not my promotion.
Larry is literally putting a disclaimer. Not promoting Bitcoin. It's 2% or 5% from sovereign wealth funds or retail investors or corporations that allocating part of their treasuries into this.
Interesting. I wanted to comment though. Given I saw something on the Norwegian sovereign fund, they actually bought, I think, a couple of hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin. So these are the things that can move the market. Now think of billions getting into this space, because price action is mostly a function of demand and supply. If there's more demand, they are buying more, and these are making very big moves against the fixed supply of Bitcoin. Then the price is most likely going to go up, all things constant. So this makes sense.
The fact that Larry Fink used to be a skeptic, in the moment he started studying Bitcoin, could see that this is a game changer. Patsy would have been saying that this is going to reach $1 million. She's been saying this since 2015, 2016. And saying that other big money managers are coming to the realization. Again, I'm going to really emphasize that it's important to allocate some of our wealth into Bitcoin. Again, we're seeing more adoption. So let's hear from Jerome Powell.
Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks. And we think banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks. And it's safe and sound. A good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in.
So again, the fact that the Fed chair is even having this conversation. But remember, I said in the previous slide that the SEC repeals the SAB 121, which prevent banks from custodying crypto. And now we're having this conversation that banks are perfectly okay to serve the customers provided they know the risks attached to this. Again, this is a big danger because not just the retail investors are into Bitcoin and crypto in general, but institutional adoption and even governments are getting into crypto, or let me just say into Bitcoin. So as exciting as this is, I also want to tell you that even Jim Cramer is excited about crypto. I don't know if this is a good thing, but Cramer, anytime he says buy this stock or buy this crypto, there is an inverse relationship. But let's hear from Cramer. Before we go into Cramer, so this week again, ECB President Christine Lagarde said just a few days ago that it's unlikely for the ECB to have a Bitcoin reserve. Okay.
Yes.
Because she said that Bitcoin is not liquid, it's not secure, it's not safe. Again, when people say this, or when somebody just says this, if they just take the time to study the white paper, you're going to see how powerful this thing is. What does it mean that this is not liquid? I can easily sell my Bitcoin. I'm not saying I'm going to sell my Bitcoin, no. But what do you mean by it's not secure, it's not safe? It's just secure. It's been operating since 2009, and there's never been any breach when it comes to Bitcoin. So it's very, very important to understand that, yes, we understand that these people control a lot of nations, but the moment you study Bitcoin, this is a game changer. Fixed supply, the demand is going up. The price is generally going to go upward. So now let's hear from Cramer.
MicroStrategy. Okay, look, I'd say if you want to own Bitcoin, own Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin. You should own Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a great thing to have in your portfolio. But
oh my God, I mean, I can listen to this over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, so Cramer is saying, I own Bitcoin. You should own Bitcoin. This is a great asset to own anytime. Cramer says, buy this thing. There is an inverse relationship, but I'm not saying that you should not buy Bitcoin. I own some Bitcoin too. So again, but that's just all that happened in crypto this week.
Now, Coach, before we conclude, I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us where you see the market going this coming week.
So before I jump into where I see the market going this week, as I always say on every episode, it's important to have some allocation into Bitcoin. We're seeing not just the retail investors, we're seeing institutions, corporations, we're seeing government coming into Bitcoin. This is a no-brainer. If you don't have some allocation, consider learning and allocating some into this. And if you want to see more content on crypto, make sure you subscribe. Every week, we come to you with a lot of crypto updates like this. And if you want one-on-one sessions with us, you can always reach out to Isaac or you can reach out to me and we can have those conversations. But where do I see the market going this week? Truly, that's $1 million question. I do expect that the market will continue to remain bullish. Might we see some volatility? Yes, we're going to see volatility in 2025. It's a no-brainer. We never can tell what can happen. Maybe there could be Black Swan event. There could be just a news and the market just go down. Nobody expected DeepSeek on Monday.
Yes.
Nobody saw that coming. And we saw NVIDIA going 17% in just one single day. But even that,
it was spooked, like you like to say. The market is a funny way of spooking itself.
Yes, the market has a way of just surprising us. But I'm a naturally optimistic person. I somewhat believe that the stock and the crypto market, these are vehicles that we use to build wealth over time. If you're just a student of the market, you can see that this is a very important tool to just put your money into and let the market just do its thing for you. So again, I remain optimistic about the market. I remain very bullish. And if the market gives me any buying opportunity and gives us another NVIDIA and DeepSeek moment again with a 17-20% drop, I'm going to be buying. Even if I know that this might drop, I'm just going to buy. And with the hope that in the next 5-10 years, I'll be happy that I bought at this price. So that's my take on the market for the following week. And I truly hope that the market always be in our favor.
That's lovely. And I also see, the market having a lot of volatility, but I'm a little bit cautious with the possibility of the tariffs, the Trump tariffs. So I am a little bit, conservative in my approach. I have a bit of cash in my portfolio, but I'm trading the volatility through the volatility ETFs. And just now I was kind of like making a bit of money from this volatility. We always want to say, may the markets be on your favor, but trade and invest wisely and make sure you are knowledgeable in the things that you are putting your money in. Let's keep this conversation going. Like, share, subscribe. Bye-bye and see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.